How do the UFC champions of today do against the champions of 2016? 2016 is seen as the peak, the prime, the best of the UFC. Oh yeah, I didn't watch the sport back then, but that's what it's recognised as. And has the sport evolved? Or do the OG champions still win? Because in this era, we had a couple fucking dominant forces. Let's start with the flyweight division. Joshua Van versus Mighty Mouse. Who would win? Of course, Mighty Mouse. I'd pick Mighty Mouse to win this fight. Would be competitive, though. Would be competitive. Joshua Van's very good. And against Tatsuro Taira, very good defensive wrestling. But he's hittable on the feet. Mighty Mouse has power in those hands. He can mix it up. Would Mighty Mouse finish Joshua Van? Probably not. I'd say a competitive, close decision like Mighty Mouse would edge. 3-2, 4-1 type thing. It would be close. Joshua Van's boxing's very slick. And Mighty Mouse is hittable. He's not like a defensive master or anything. He's definitely hittable. Joshua Van has pop. He can land in. He can rip to the body. He can pressure, rough it up. Make it an ugly, messy fight. But of course I'd pick Mighty Mouse to win this, you know. Maybe a submission. And this was like peak Mighty Mouse on his run. Could be a sub here, he was finishing guys, but did he fight anyone who was Joshua Van level? Maybe Joseph Benavidez would have been. Maybe someone like that, you know, but he was defending his belt against guys like Tim Elliott, bro. Like, that's a low-level title defense compared to fighters like now. Like, he did not fight anyone as good as... Henry Cejudo in his prime probably was as good as... Joshua Van, to be fair. Different style, but probably on par as good, you know. But yeah, Kyoji Horiguchi's a great win too. Yeah, definitely Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse might submit him, to be fair. Mighty Mouse definitely could submit Joshua Van, but Joshua Van, Mighty Mouse would be a very competitive fight. I'd lean Mighty Mouse by decision, though. Maybe a submission, though. Because he just hasn't been doing MMA that long. But he has sick defensive wrestling. So Joshua Van could win this, you know. I of course, would pick peak Mighty Mouse to beat him. But would be definitely competitive. So yeah, Mighty Mouse would win. It would be a real competitive fight, though. And Joshua Van's got a shot. Now we go into the bantamweight division. My GOAT, Petr Yan, is the reigning champ. He's very inactive. Please, Yan, come back, bro. This guy's sitting out for fucking ages. But yeah, Petr Yan. The champ back then was Dominic Cruz, and oh my god, this would be a slaughter. Petr Yan would put a fucking destructive whooping onto Dominic Cruz, and it wouldn't be competitive. Dude, Petr Yan would put belt to ass on Dominic Cruz. I like Dominic Cruz. What's he going to do in this fight? Is he taking down Petr Yan? Hell no. Is he landing on the feet on him and doing any damage? No. He can land on the feet, but he has no pop and zero power in the hands. I'm sorry, if Cody Garbrandt is putting it on you on the feet, I'm rocking you badly. I know he has good wins over like TJ Dillashaw, which is a great win. That was kind of a robbery though, but that was a great win. And TJ Dillashaw is very good. Dude, Petr Yan... But Petr Yan might actually get a finish here. Or at least a decision. 50-45 where he just drops him over and over again. He is tough and dominant. And Cody Garbrandt dropped him bad and couldn't quite finish him. So maybe he could tough it out. Maybe. But low-key, I probably would say a destructive, battering decision win. I'd say where Petr Yan... 50-44, 50-43, pressuring in, just some roughing up. Probably loses the first round to download data, actually. But he just fucks up Dominic Cruz badly, dropping him badly, rocking him badly. He can do whatever he wants to Dominic Cruz. He can take him down if he wants. This would be an absolute hood classic whooping from Petr Yan. This fight would not be competitive at all. Yeah, what's he gonna do, dude? I'm sorry. In 2016, at this point in 2016, right? He was a champion, but he lost to Cody Garbrandt the same year. Like, nah. If Cody Garbrandt's ever putting it on you on the feet, and Cody Garbrandt is kind of trash. I know he had his 25 minutes of gold, but he's kind of trash. So if Cody Garbrandt is ever putting belt to ass, Petr Yan is going to put a hood class of whooping. So yeah. Now onto the featherweight division. Old man Volk is still the champ. Still the champ. And at this point, the Mac is back this weekend. The Mac was the champ of featherweight this time 10 years ago. Crazy longevity McGregor's having. Coming back all these years later, he's gonna get whooped though. McGregor was champ at this point, and against Old Man Volk, I'll be real, Volk would get slimed out by a peak prime McGregor. Like the McGregor that fought Aldo would slime out this older Volk. If we go prime for prime, yeah? If we go peak for peak, who wins? If they're both in their prime. Like, if the Volk who fought Holloway and the McGregor who fought Aldo, who wins? It's still a very competitive fight, of course. I would go with Volk to weather an early storm and put it on him late and win like a 3-2 decision. Again, would be a very close fight no matter what. But at this point, Volk's 38, 37. I think he might be 38, but he's old, he's slower, he's a bit chinny. He's still very good and he still can weather an early storm and can put it on McGregor later. But Volk's chinny, man. Volk's chin, and he's rockable. And when you're rockable against a fucking power puncher like McGregor, like I'd say it's probably the hardest hitting featherweight of all time. Oh no, that's Jeremy Stevens. My bad. Who the fuck is that guy? I'd say the hardest hitter in this weight class is Ilia Topuria or Conor McGregor. Between those two, and Ilia slimed out Volk. I do believe. He would slime out. Yeah, it would be a knockout. For a round one knockout. Pressure forward McGregor. Puts a straight left on him. Bat out cold early. At this stage, Prime Volk, I do believe, would win. It would be close though, but I think Prime Volk would win. This McGregor, he's gonna... This version of Conor McGregor would knock out an older version of Volk, you know? 2016 Prime, young... McGregor would definitely win. So now onto the lightweight division. The champion is Justin Gaethje. And back then, it was fucking Eddie Alvarez. One of the worst lightweight champions of all time, Eddie Alvarez. This would be a rematch. Eddie Alvarez won the first fight. But if we're going from the version of Gaethje, that would be Ilia, yeah? Versus the version of Eddie Alvarez at this time. I think he fought RDA for a belt. And Eddie Alvarez was never good. He was never good. He was good. No, I'll take that back. Of course he was good. He was a UFC champion, top contender. But he was never an elite fighter, really. But he had the belt. I don't think... He never defended the belt. Like, I don't... Did he? No, he didn't. He never defended the belt at all, I don't think. Won the belt against RDA, lost. Of course, he has a win over fucking Justin Gaethje, to be fair. Good for him. He has a win over Big Rufus. But it's like... I don't see what he's going to be able to do in this fight. It's going to be a striking match. We saw him win but that was reckless Gaethje, who was really young and fucking threw the kitchen sink at him and still couldn't finish him. But that was a dumb, inexperienced Justin Gaethje. Now onto a Justin Gaethje that is not young, he's older, but seemingly in his career prime. He's physically past his prime, but that was the best performance he's had against Ilia Topuria. So, of course, in this fight, I think Gaethje would put a fucking destructive whooping again on Eddie Alvarez, and it wouldn't be competitive at all, really. No, mate, it would be competitive. Gaethje's definitely beatable, you know, but I just see him walking into jabs over and over again. Landing leg kicks. We already saw the first fight. He fucking destroyed that leg. And he's going to be patient. He's not going to be reckless at all. He's going to be patient, up in a shell, using the high guard, jabbing him up. And he would fuck up Eddie Alvarez. Let's be 100% honest here. This wouldn't be close. This wouldn't be close. This version of Gaethje beats any version of Eddie Alvarez, despite him winning the first fight, you know? So yeah, 100% Eddie Alvarez would get battered by Justin Gaethje. Now onto the welterweight division, and this would be a lamb to slaughter. Islam Makhachev would submit Robbie Lawler with a Darth choke in round one. I'm not going to talk about this one too much because it just isn't a competitive fight whatsoever. I mean, if we go through levels of comp, Robbie Lawler's a savage, really entertaining, has absolute wars, but Robbie Lawler, I don't believe was ever that great, really. He was a tough cunt, and he was a good fighter, but would a prime Robbie Lawler beat a JDM? I don't know. Probably not. I don't think he would be a prime JDM. I really don't. I mean, Robbie Lawler was good, but he wouldn't beat Islam. He'd get submitted in fucking round one. That's what would happen here. He'd get subbed in round one. I mean, if Jacare Souza's subbing you, brother, Islam's going to take him down. He's going to hold on top for a little bit. Lawler's going to scramble, Darth choke, night, it's over. Would he tap? I don't know. Lawler's a tough cunt, out cold. Submission with a Darth. Instantly in round one. I mean, there's just different level of fighter here. Robbie Lawler probably started training at what, like 15, 16. Makhachev's been doing this shit since birth, and there's a different level in, like, starting MMA late and being a tough guy who's a savage and just likes to scrap, and then you get in the MMA gym. Makhachev's been doing it since birth, dude. Training non-stop. His mission, his whole life has been to UFC champion. That's not Robbie Lawler's been, and it would show. There's a major difference there. So yeah, Islam Makhachev would fucking submit Robbie Lawler instantly with a DAS. Now onto the middleweight division. Champion Sean Strickland. I did not think a year ago I'd be saying that. Sean Strickland is the world champ, and another upset. This would be two upsets facing each other, because the champ at the time was Michael Bisping, who won as a huge underdog against Luke Rockhold. Massive underdog win. Strickland just won as a massive underdog against Hamza, and this wouldn't be a competitive fight again. Strickland would jab and teep him up easily. Jab, jab, teep, throw the right hand. He'd be able to hit Bisping whenever he wants. And he'd win a 50-45 decision doing that. Maybe even a late stoppage when he piles it on Bisping over and over again with the jabs, jabbing him up, throws across. I mean, Bisping's probably... I like the guy I get. He's alright. I like him. He is one of the most fraudulent champions ever. I mean, he won the belt by kind of a fluke, because we saw who won the first fight, and he came in and Rockhold's super, super chinny. So it was kind of a fluky win there, to be fair. And he won fair and square, but it was kind of, he caught Luke Rockhold there, like, he always had a punch his chance, really. He's not on the level, but yeah, I mean, Strickland has a good chin, he's not going to get caught. Bisping doesn't really have power that much. This would be a one-sided beatdown for 5 rounds, 50-45 decision for Sean Strickland here, jabbing him up, landing the right hand. He'd probably cut up. He'd fuck up Bisping's face with a jab, and there's a lot of scar tissue. His face would open up. Bisping would get ass worked for 5 rounds. Not knocked out, though. Probably not. Strickland's not a huge finisher. He doesn't really knock people out. Bisping would tough it out, but 50-45 type decision, just jabbing him up over and over again. His face would be fucking mess. It'd be similar to Ledricka's first fight. The face-wise, I'm saying, obviously the performance would be Strickland domination. He would definitely not lose to Bisping. So yeah, Bisping ain't beating Strickland, dude. He ain't beating Strickland. Now onto the light heavyweight division. At the time, Big DC was champ. Look at this blob, dude. I'm fat. I love blobs. As I rooting for them. And blobs that can do well in the sport, I respect the hell out of that. He was the best. Well, DC was probably one of the greatest fat people of all time. To look like that, this is heavyweight. This would be a light heavyweight. This is heavyweight DC. To have man boobs and to be blobby and to be a world champion is crazy. But this would be a really interesting fight. I'd probably go with DC via like close decision. He's fucking hittable coming in, man. And DC didn't have he had great wrestling, and Olberg's wrestling. I can't think of a time he's needed to defend a takedown. Was it like Datun Young? Like, no one's tried to defend. I can't think of. He hasn't fought anyone who wrestles at all. And going up against an Olympic gold medalist, I mean, he's probably just going to show levels of the wrestling. He's going to be able to take him down, ground and pound, and maybe finish him, or at least win a decision. But if Olberg has better defensive wrestling that I'm thinking of, I haven't seen it, so I'm going to assume it's defensive wrestling. He's never fought a wrestler. He's never had a training camp. I believe he hasn't had a training camp needing to defend lots of takedowns. Olberg is gonna probably get ragdolled, but if he can keep it on the feet and use his range well, fucking DC's hittable on the feet, dude, and he can walk into that left hook, and one left hook of Olberg, that's the fight done, right? But I think DC would pressure him, make it an ugly fight, make it a bit of a war. I think he'd land on the feet against Carlos Olberg. I think pressure in the clinch, grab the Tolokai, smash uppercuts, be able to take him down, I believe. I think he'd be able to take him down. Pressure, and I think pressure is the way to beat a Carlos Olberg in the end. But it's still a very close fight. Like, DC could walk into a left hook, 100%. He could walk into a left hook. He gets fucked up on the feet here. Maybe he parries off like Reyes coming in. Uppercut cross. Like, I could definitely see it, but DC's probably going to ragdoll him. I mean, just Olberg's never fought a wrestler like that, so it's like, I do believe DC would probably ragdoll him, at least win 3 rounds, controlling him on the ground, landing ground and pound, But it would be a close fight. Carlos Olberg on the feet would knock out Daniel Cormier, if given a lot of time there, and maybe he could, but I would lean DC here. And let's go on to the heavyweight division, Big Tom. And this is a really interesting fight, and I don't know who'd win. Tom Aspinall versus peak prime Stipe. Could the big, crafty vet Stipe drag Tom Aspinall into deep water? Because he had a great chin. Stipe had a great chin. Only person to knock him out is DC, which is kind of... DC has good big power, but getting flattened by DC is a tough loss. Because he won the rematch, he took shots off an Ngannou in the first fight. And this is in 2016 when he's at his prime, beating Andrei Arlovski, beating Verdum and Overeem and June Santos, you know. This time period. Does he beat a Tom Aspinall, though? Because Tom Aspinall's so fast. And Stipe's there to be hit. But looking at a striking match, Stipe's out to be it. But could Stipe extend this and start pumping out the jab? And he's a little bit slower and start digging left hooks to the body and making it a slower, making it a more drawn out fight. If he can weather an early storm, I think Stipe can win at a decision here or a late TKO against Tom Aspinall. If I'm picking them now, I would... And who's the more talented? Like, Aspinall's more athletic. He's more talented. Hits harder, you know. Has better BJJ. Wrestling for wrestling's probably similar level. So a lot of advantages here are for Tom Aspinall. But I don't know what, like... I could see Stipe extending this and showing him, like, a... I know people have said this before to Tom and they get slimed out early. Weathering the storm and bringing him into hell late. I would pick Stipe via late TKO or a decision, actually. I would. Because for one, Aspinall's very hittable on the feet, dude, and that can add up. And he gets a bloody nose easily. And if Stipe can pump out the jab and weather an early storm, I do believe he'd win the fight. So yeah, now I'm going to go for each division and see who wins. So, starting with the heavyweight division, I picked Stipe. So it's 1-0 2016. 2-0 2016. It's 2-1. 2-2. 2-2. So 2-3. Then it's 3-3. 3-4 and 4-4. So I have it as evens. But Aspinall and that, I think a couple of them could be switched, you know. I think Aspinall 100% could be switched. Olberg potentially could be switched. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. I thought it was a decent video. I kind of struggled with video ideas, so I thought, let's do this one. Yeah, like, subscribe. Good luck. Good to see you next time. Goodbye.